What if the biggest mistake of your life became the centerpiece of your content? That's the question many people are asking after Ned Fulmer once again made headlines. Not for a new project, but for joking publicly about the affair that ended his marriage and destroyed his career with the Try Guys.
BuzzFeed, I basically wrote the listicle 10 reasons why having a workplace affair will shatter your marriage and career. Like, subscribe. Yep. It's led me to stand up, though. Seems like I fit right in. Thank you very much for having me.
For most public figures, a scandal like this is something they spend years trying to escape. They issue statements, disappear for a while, and hope people eventually move on. Ned seems to be taking the opposite approach. Instead of distancing himself from the controversy, he keeps referencing it. Whether it's podcasts, interviews, social media clips, or even stand-up comedy, the scandal repeatedly becomes part of the conversation. And every time he does it, the internet reacts all over again. Recently, a clip from one of his comedy performances spread online after he joked that he had practically written the ultimate list of reasons why having a workplace affair can destroy both your marriage and your career. The audience laughed, but online reactions were mixed. Some viewers praised him for showing resilience and trying to rebuild his life with humor. Others argued that repeatedly making light of such a painful chapter only keeps reopening old wounds for everyone involved. One commenter pointed out that while people deserve opportunities to grow after making serious mistakes, constantly revisiting those mistakes risks allowing them to define your entire public identity. Interestingly, Ned himself replied to similar criticism by saying that the rest of his comedy set focused on dating as a single father and friendships, suggesting that the affair joke was only a small portion of the performance. But critics aren't convinced. Many believe this isn't an isolated incident. They argue there's now a pattern where references to the scandal continue surfacing across multiple projects and appearances. That perception only intensified after another clip circulated, where Ned discussed divorce and co-parenting, emphasizing that separated families shouldn't automatically be viewed as broken.
Just because you're divorced, just because you've separated, that doesn't mean your family's broken down. You're not different. I hate that concept of the broken family, the broken home. That doesn't exist. You're just rewriting it. You get to choose. You've got the power to decide how you want to do it with your ex, for your children, and that's what I wanted to share.
While some appreciated the message, others responded by pointing out that his own personal decisions played a role in changing his family dynamic, leading to another wave of heated debate in the comments. The conversation didn't stop there. During podcast appearances, Ned has openly reflected on how public backlash affected him. He explained that online reactions made him feel like the entire world hated him, but that many face-to-face encounters have been more compassionate, with strangers expressing sympathy and encouraging him to move forward. Perhaps the most revealing discussion came during an interview with a therapist specializing in infidelity, where Ned revisited the entire scandal from beginning to end. He acknowledged having an affair with an employee connected to his production company and described how the fallout dramatically altered both his personal life and professional career. At one point, he was asked whether part of him subconsciously wanted to be caught, considering how publicly he behaved during the relationship. Looking back, Ned admitted that while he wouldn't have consciously said he wanted exposure at the time, his actions suggested he may have been seeking an end to what he described as a fractured double life. He also reflected on the consequences that followed, including losing his role with the Try Guys and watching relationships built over years change almost overnight. The scandal became one of YouTube's biggest stories, generating enormous public attention and leaving lasting effects on everyone connected to it. For many observers, however, the biggest question today isn't what happened in 2022, it's why the topic keeps resurfacing. Some believe discussing it openly is part of healing and accepting responsibility. Others feel revisiting it repeatedly turns a painful chapter into recurring entertainment. There's also concern about the long-term impact on his family, particularly his children, who may one day encounter these jokes and interviews online. Beyond Ned's personal story, fans continue wondering how differently things might have unfolded for the Try Guys themselves. Before the controversy, the group appeared to be on an upward trajectory, producing increasingly ambitious projects and expanding their presence beyond YouTube. Some supporters speculate that without the scandal, the team might have continued building momentum, with larger productions and industry recognition. Of course, that's impossible to know with certainty.